Welcome to Confirmation Bias, presented by the League Ambassadors.
I'm Ambassador Kenny Ken, and I had a message for Boogie until I heard from Paul George. And I just want to say to you, sir, you a whole sucker. And that's my confirmation bias.
I'm Ambassador Junior Blue, and as much as I want the Lakers to pair LeBron with Kawhi, at the price of Ingram, Hart, Kuzma, 2 first-round draft picks, and 2 swapped picks, the Spurs have lost their mind. And that's my confirmation bias.
I'm Ambassador Dad, and I don't know this Laker roster very well, but what I do know is when LeBron gets there, he's going to have a huddle, and the huddle's going to go something like this. I came here for 2 things. One of them is winning. The other one is to make movies. Lonzo, that rap career is dead. Space Jam 2-on-3. Let's go. And that's my confirmation bias.
Ladies and gentlemen, the hate is real. I'm Redo, and I really believe that if you were a wrestling coach or an assistant wrestling coach, you should not be allowed to run for office because odds are you've seen some crazy shit. And that's my confirmation bias.
And I'm Ambassador Chef Curry. The Toon Squad defeated the unbeatable Monstars, right? By surrounding the best player on the planet with a supporting cast of cartoon characters. So with that logic, LeBron won't have to film Space Jam 2 because he'll actually be living it. And that's my confirmation bias.
Welcome to Confirmation Bias. This is episode 60, second season of our show. As a reminder, you can follow us everywhere on social media. Our handle is @TheLeagueAM. That is Twitter, that is Facebook, that is Instagram. Also, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, The League Ambassadors, and please check out our website, theleagueam.com, where you can see all of our content. That is every episode of both this show, Confirmation Bias, as well as our NFL show, 32 Kings Road. We've got a really good show today because there's been a lot going on in the world of basketball. But also we're going to talk about some World Cup action. We're also going to discuss the latest in the NFL collusion case that Colin Kaepernick has waged. And then finally talk about some boxing. Junior Blue, how are you, sir?
I'm good. I'm doing great today.
Hold on, time. Before we go any further,
Hold on. What is this, hijacking?
No. What's up with this new Kenyon voice? This fucking Barry White.
Hey,
I'm trying to.
sometimes you gotta switch it up.
Yeah, sometimes when you get what you want, you can do that.
Did you though?
Yes.
Let's talk about it.
Yes, let's talk about
Let's
it.
talk about it. The number 1 free agent on the board.
Who's that?
Mr. LeBron James. Signed for 4 years with our Los Angeles.
Y'all Los Angeles Lakers.
That's
And Joe,
fine.
don't forget Joe.
Man. Come on, man.
Well, that's the thing. So they signed LeBron for 4 years. The 4th year is actually a player option, which he actually never did with Cleveland. It was always 1-1. I think he had a 2-1 at one point. Outside of that, because obviously that's an A+. What do you guys think of how they're filling out the rest of the roster with 1-year deals for Rondo, McGee, and Stevenson? What do you think, Devin? Tell me.
Kevin, as a non-Laker fan.
Fine, I'll take it. I actually like their moves. Of course, getting LeBron, it's a career move for him. It's a great legacy move. I'm sure you guys aren't complaining. I'm personally happy that now you three motherfuckers are down in the dumps for the last 5 years, but you will be insufferable for the next 3.5 at least. But the one move that I looked at that I thought was interesting was the Rondo move, because I looked at it two ways. That's either an indictment on Lonzo Ball because they brought somebody in that can actually play that position until they decide what they want to do with him. But more likely, I think it's actually an investment in him, because if he's the guy you want to have as your future point guard, he's young. You bring in somebody like Rondo who does what you want to see, what you want Lonzo Ball to become at some point. So I think if he sits behind him or learns from Rondo for a year, I think it was a 1-year deal, and then give him the reins after that, I don't see anything wrong with that. It's similar to having a new bringing in a quarterback to play ahead of your draft pick, so kind of show him the ropes before you hand the reins over.
I definitely really like the Rondo pick. Like you said, I agree with all of that. The only thing that I was kind of iffy on was the Lance move. I'm not too sure about that, just because I don't know where he's going to fit. I mean, depends on where you guys finish building the roster. But from what I can tell, I think the JaVale McGee is a good move. I think that's specifically for LeBron, although he's great on defense. He can, cover the back end, good on pick and roll. He's athletic. He can get up and down. I think that's definitely a plus. But the Lance thing, I'm not too sure about. I don't know about you guys.
I think that specifically Lance Stevenson is a use in case of an emergency, and specifically for playoffs. Because the one thing that we all know, particularly in basketball, is that you never know how young players are going to react. And being is that we have 3 wing/type players, young players that are key in Josh Hart, Kyle Kuzma, and Brandon Ingram. If for any reason one of them aren't up to snuff come playoff time, Lance is someone that has playoff experience, that is a dog, that is competitive, that would be able to step in. So I think that you use the season showcasing the guys that we have there, and in the event that we need to go to a proven veteran in the playoffs, I think that's what Lance serves. I kind of agree with you, Devin, in the sense of I think that we could have gotten Lance for the minimum and used our mid-level exception somewhere. Those signings came awfully quick. But I like the moves because we have infused our roster with dogs, with competitive spirit.
Who are the dogs?
Everybody that we brought in, with the exception of JaVale McGee, is a dog. I'll be interested
LeBron's
to
a
see.
dog?
Yeah, he's a dog.
He's not a dog. He's great.
He's a dog.
I would say you're
Okay,
two dogs.
I would
that's
say-
that's
No,
an
yeah,
insane
he's-
statement you just made. He's
Yeah.
great, but he's not a dog.
No,
he's
you know
a
the
dog.
difference?
With that shit.
You know the damn
And
difference?
Kevin,
Do you know the difference?
Kevin, yeah, I would rather have great. Kevin,
So
what
you
makes
just
you
made
think
my
Lonzo
point.
not starting?
It doesn't matter if he is or isn't. I'm just saying that the move, I think, is what's most important, what you should focus on. And to me, if I'm a Laker fan, I'm happy they did that.
I
Whether he
I thought it
starts
was
or
an-
not,
I thought it
he
was a
played
great
with
move,
someone who
but-
does what you need him to do in the future.
It's just that there's a lot of people who keep saying stuff without listening to actually what the Lakers say, because they listen to people from the outside. They don't listen to what the people on the inside is saying. They keep saying that exactly what you said, that it could be an option where they're trying to get rid of Lonzo, and it had zero to do with that.
Yeah, they've been talking to Rondo. They weren't actually running Rondo last season. I think the biggest takeaway, though, from these moves that no one is talking about is that LeBron is actually, for the first time in his career, going to be off of the ball. When you bring in a Rondo, when you add a Lance Stevenson in the system that the Lakers run, I think it's reinforced. LeBron is going to be off the ball because that's the way that he can extend his career. I'll also say I think LeBron is going to lead the league in scoring playing this way. And it's also supported by the fact when you look at what happened when you look at what happened with Julius Randle, the conversation with Randle, it was not only about money and the fact that they really
His
only want to do a
role would
1 year.
change,
His
yeah.
role would change. Who's going to fill his role? LeBron is off the ball, running the court. That's why you bring in a Rondo. That's why you bring in a Stevenson with Brandon Ingram, who's also a playmaker.
You know what's the weirdest thing to me that no one's talking about is the fact that he actually, for the first time, gave up leverage by signing that 4-year deal. like the reason why Cleveland's owner can't stand him being there because he wouldn't give up the leverage. Because he signed that 1-on-1 deal.
That's how it's going.
I do think him leading the league in scoring is definitely possible, and it will be necessary because who is he kicking the ball out to shoot it? Because you got Lonzo with that shit and Rondo with that shit. I mean, it's really an overreaction because it's the first week of July. But are you guys concerned about the pieces around him based on the way we've seen LeBron James play basketball to this point? Because at 34, we've been asking for over the last 5 years, but can he change his game in a way that those pieces?
He's never played in a system. Tell me a time that he's actually played in an offensive system, like an actual system.
What offensive system is being offered to him in Los Angeles?
We run the motion offense that the Golden State Warriors run. The same offense they run that is dribble handoffs, that is about active cutting. It's also going to be a fast break offense, legit fast break offense. It's the same system.
But you got to shoot in the fast break.
But the thing is, you
so we got shoot.
named Lonzo. You named Lonzo.
Yeah, you didn't land Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, who shot 38%. Josh Hart, Brandon Ingram,
shot
38% from three.
Josh Hart shot 40%.
Right.
So I mean, you're talking. You named the two who can't shoot. And that's the same
trust me, I'm not
that's what I'm
being
saying.
critical at all. It's the first week of July. I'm asking you from a personnel standpoint. You bring up Pope. Do you guys feel like y'all overpaid for him in terms of
it's for
what
1 year?
We overpaid last year.
Yeah, 18 million last year. We gave him 12.
And you look
year.
at what JJ Redick got. JJ Redick got $12 million. It's the market.
Right.
And these the numbers I wouldn't pay attention to. Again, I take issue with the Stevenson deal because again, we could have gotten him for $1 million and used the mid-level somewhere else. But otherwise, the money is inconsequential because all of these are 1-year deals, which allows us to then get another max player in 2019.
Dev is over here not speaking his mind. He over here shaking his head.
Doesn't matter, y'all.
Nah, speak your mind. We on the show. Speak your mind. That's the whole point.
I've been said it. He's not going to change after 15 years. I don't give a fuck what goddamn system y'all think he's going to run. He's going to run the LeBron system, and Walton's going to be fucking gone next year.
See, that's what I want to hear.
Yeah, and he's dead wrong. So that's definitely not going to happen. Again, not only when you talk about
15 years.
It has nothing to do with the 15 years. It's about being actually with an organization where it's understood. There is actual structure here. There's leadership here.
There was none in Miami?
And that's why he didn't stay in Miami because he wanted to call the shots. He wanted Pat Riley to come down and coach. He wanted to have exactly. He wanted to have his way.
Structure.
He wanted to have his way in Miami, and he left after 4 years. That's what happened. This is the end of his career.
So because it's the end now, he's going to change his game. What he should have been doing 10 years ago.
Again, you have to have an offensive system to be able to do that. Tell me. I asked you a question. Show me an offensive system that he actually played in
that they tried
to run.
He wouldn't allow it. He wouldn't allow it. He got Paul Silas fired in the first fucking year.
You're talking about when he was a rookie?
It hasn't changed. It hasn't changed.
Come on.
The only reason why it's different now because he got on purple and gold. That's it.
No, you can't. I'm asking you to tell me an offensive system that was
what
actually
did they run in Miami? Or attempt to run in Miami.
They ran a system that centered around him dribbling the ball. That was the offensive system, and they made Chris Bosh a jump shooter so that the lane could be open.
Chris Bosh a jump shooter?
But they're
accommodating him. Accommodating him.
He was most successful. He played his best games. You can highlight that Game 6 against Boston when he had the ball at the foul line extended, the high elbow, and he either was able to back his way in, force the defense to
kick it out to shooter.
But to kick it out to shooters. And I think that's the most important part here. If that's the offense they're going to run, are you saying he's off ball? Off ball to do what? To cut back door? To operate inside? I mean, I feel like you have, granted, again, like I said, it's first week of July. You guys still have time and years to put pieces together. But I think it's difficult to say you have a clear idea of what you guys are going to do when we've never seen top 5 best player to ever play make these changes that we're claiming he's going to make, and haven't seen the Lakers make those changes either in terms of personnel. So I'm rooting for you guys.
No. But your argument doesn't hold because we just said that the personnel is there for shooters. That we have the shooters to do it.
Okay.
There's 3 shooters.
And we just drafted one who can't miss.
Right.
Okay. They're
I can't pronounce his name though.
They're October through April shooters. We'll see when it matters the most, and that's what.
And I agree
that's
with
what
that.
this comes down to.
I agree with that, Kev. I mean, we got to see what kind of dog they have when it comes to playoffs time because none of them have seen it. But that's not to say they can't do it.
It's not to say they can.
So we'll see. So
you got to see.
On to the other California squad. Did
The monster.
Golden State break the NBA 2018-19 season by signing Boogie?
Absolutely. This shit's over. I can't root for them anymore. Like I rooted for them because they played basketball at a beautiful rate when they weren't turning the fucking ball over, and the way that basketball has changed. Like they're one of the teams that actually moved the ball and hit the open man. But
I don't understand that.
dead. What do you mean?
I don't understand why you wouldn't root for him. Like,
Because the competition is
because they compete at a high level. Anybody could have offered that motherfucker some money.
Yeah, they
Nobody
could have.
did.
I'm just saying.
What I'm saying is the reason for you not to because they
it's too
signed him.
much. It's too much.
But people had a chance to get him and they didn't compete. They said, "Nah, we keep him."
I'm not mad
We
with the
want him.
signing. If he's out there, you go get him.
Like,
I'm just
I'm
saying I
like-
can't not having a team in good conscience root
Right.
for the fucking evil empire.
But
That's
what I'm saying is that I don't feel like I don't agree with the it's not fair shit. I'm not saying that's what you just said, but a lot of people are. Like they're not doing anything illegal.
It's fair. They drafted those cats. They picked up
and Bob Myers had the biggest hold my beer moment of the summer. Magic was like, all right, this is what we gonna do. Bob Myers said, hold my beer.
This is the problem with the signing to me personally. Boogie Cousins is coming off an Achilles tear. You can't name one big man who ever came back from Achilles tear. Plus, he's not a workout warrior like he got in the best shape of his career because he thought he was going to make $200 million. Now he's coming off an Achilles tear.
And then you want to add on top of that the fact that they're going to ask him to come off of the bench. That's number one.
You think so?
Yeah.
It's reported. That's their plan is to have him to come off the bench. And he's not playing until January at the earliest. So
That's not what he's saying.
So now I want to draw your attention to 2017 Cleveland Cavaliers when they had Isaiah Thomas. And Isaiah Thomas didn't come back until January, February. There's no practice time. There's no time to integrate within the system. It was a shock to hear it, definitely, when the signing happened. But as you start to really look at it and analyze it, I think that this is a situation that not only is going to be combustible, but it's one that isn't going to work just for the simple fact that he's not going to be able to practice with them to be able to integrate within the system. And what they have planned for him is definitely not what he has in his mind. And that's exactly the problem that Isaiah Thomas ran into. Because at the end of the day, you're talking about a player that he's only taking this deal because he wants to prove that he's worthy of a max deal. So when you have selfish ambition and selfish intention that comes in the way of a team concept, that never works out well.
Yeah, and I agree, Kenyon. I think it's easy to say that, Golden State is going to run away with this because if there was any weakness this team had, a healthy DeMarcus Cousins solves that.
Solves it all.
In a post game. Exactly. But my issue is that at the same time, Golden State's strength is their chemistry. The fact that they can put anybody out on the court and that the offense doesn't change. You can't tell who's out there, who's not. Adding a guy like Boogie and not necessarily knowing how that's going to change what they have in place right now is really tough to
and
say.
Not having a summer
and
not having a summer to even work out. And that's to say nothing of the defense. Where defensively, the key to them defensively is being able to switch everything.
Here's the thing, though.
DeMarcus Cousins doesn't switch.
He's not finishing the game.
Here's the thing. The Boogie thing with Golden State is found money. If it fucking works out, it works out. If it don't, that $5.3 million is nothing for them to get rid of him. And he's got to know that I'm assuming they've let him know that. Like, he knows his situation. And when Boogie's in a situation where he wants to get paid, he is on his best behavior. We all know that motherfucker's a psycho. We know he's crazy. But when he wants to get paid, he's going to be on his best behavior. And he wants to get paid. And to me, that bodes well for Golden State more than anybody.
I already assume that the Warriors are going to win next year anyway, barring injury. So they added Boogie. Okay, they're going to win. It doesn't change anything. Right. It doesn't move any needle.
Yeah, I think two things. One, from a Lakers perspective, I'm just glad that Golden State did it and not Boston.
Exactly.
Because quite frankly, I would have been.
That's what I wanted to ask.
Yeah, I would have been terrified. And here's the main reason. The main reason being that let's say it does work out for Golden State with DeMarcus this season, that means that Draymond Green will be traded in the offseason, and then Clay will probably be gone as well, because then at that point you've got to give him the max, and then you can't pay anyone else. Boston has the resources and the movement to be able to, if it were to work out with Boston, to pay him and keep the vast majority of the team that they have, and that would be a greater issue. So I'm thankful to Golden State that they actually did what they did.
Yeah, because then Clay could be that shooter in 2019 that, let's be honest, you guys don't have right now.
No, we don't have one of the best shooters ever. I agree with that.
But so did 28 other teams.
Okay, outside of the Lakers and Golden State, what do you think some of the best signings were so far?
Indiana, Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek.
That's interesting. I mean,
He balled out before. If he's healthy,
They need it.
that's a good pickup for them on the cheap.
Yeah. I actually like.
I think we're talking about Tyreek Evans.
Evans, yes.
Yeah, a low key move that kind of went under the radar, but I like the Seth Curry pickup that Portland did, because I think that rounds out their backcourt with like Seth being sort of a mixture of what Lillard brings and then what CJ McCollum brings. And I'm pretty sure they're going to re-sign Nurkic, and for 2 years and 2.7 to get somebody like Seth Curry, I think that was a good undercover move by the Trailblazers.
Are we all in agreement that the CP3 for 4 years was bad?
They didn't have a choice.
He's gonna be what?
Yeah,
38.
Yeah.
I mean, he's
44 million in his last year.
37.
They're
yeah,
gonna
44.
they're gonna regret it, but I mean, they didn't have a choice.
They were damned if they do, damned if they don't. I like what Philly did. They were able to keep JJ Redick at half the price, and they also brought in Wilson Chandler, who's a guy. If you look at Philly's roster from last year, nobody outside of Simmons and Embiid can get their own shot. Wilson Chandler's been going under the radar for years, but he's got experience. He's a veteran guy, and I think when the offense breaks down, he can get his as well.
They are now leading the lead in injuries, though.
I also didn't like the fact that the two guys that they lost, which when they made that move last year, would push them over the edge. Yep. But the team that I like actually didn't do too much, which was Denver. They kept the core together, and then they signed Jokic to a long-term deal and re-up Will Barton. So it was working. They almost made the playoffs.
I was just about to say, do you think Denver is one of those teams that the natural progression of their youngsters pushes them into the... Okay.
Because they're all young.
Yeah.
They're all young.
Yeah.
I was a little upset with New Orleans, though. I mean, just a little. I mean, I felt like we talked about it on the show about, like unsung players, but I think they really discredited how important Rondo was, especially for the growth of Anthony Davis. But then you lose him and you don't bring Boogie back. It's like, what are y'all gonna do to keep Daniels it?
They offered Boogie at the end of the season 2 years, $40 million.
And he turned it down. So
but after when free agency hit, they could have called him back big head.
But see,
they saw 400 pounds.
Yeah, but they'll go. But here's the thing, though: with negotiations, you then lose your leverage when you pull that offer off the table. Then it's now you're saying you want this amount of money, and honestly, I don't really believe that they wanted Boogie back anyway. Alvin Gentry said as much at the end of the season
because they played good without him.
Yeah, so
then now where does that put them? It's almost the position that Houston.
Well, they're going to go. I mean, they're going to go small ball, and with Julius Randle, and then Mirotic, which I think that's a good mix. Remember, Mirotic came towards the end of the season. Now they'll have him a full training camp. He played really well for them. He spaces the floor, gives Anthony Davis and Julius a lot of work on the interior. Yeah, they signed Elfrid Payton. So they'll play. So Payton is not Rondo, but again, he's a guy. Surprisingly to me, Drew Holiday played well playing off of the ball. So with the 2-guard front with Payton and Holiday, you get to replicate some of what you had last year with Rondo.
Kenyon, they're in the 8th seed.
Huh? Yeah. I mean, it's fine, but I mean, it's not. It could have been worse, is what I'm saying.
And I think
in the West, that ain't bad.
I think Kenyon's confirmation bias was dead on with this one. Did PG make the right decision?
Definitely not for his pockets, because he could have took the Supermax with Indiana.
Yeah, bias aside, I don't know what he was thinking. at all.
And not for rings neither, because that shit.
Well, two things.
He could have went to Philadelphia. I mean, that would have been a better
Stay where the
situation.
hell he was and got the money.
Things take you into his psyche where he said, I want to do the thing that pleases everybody, the most people. Like, who says that?
I hope now everybody.
Right.
You know what? I hope this does though is I hope it lets everyone know just because you're from Southern California doesn't mean you're from LA. Okay, that's a Palmdale mentality.
Palmdale been catching hell for the last
Palmdale
4
mentality.
days. Palmdale don't even deserve that.
Palmdale is 2 hours away from Los Angeles. Just because you from Southern California don't mean you from LA.
All right, it's time for Black vs. Blue. I was on time for once. First up, we got Hope versus Hype. The World Cup.
Been cracking.
Super cracking. Now, the question...
He wouldn't know nothing about it.
I'm in the same chat y'all in. Hood news. The question is it Hope or Hype that the World Cup is Brazil's to lose?
I think
It's
that...
hope. It's hope. I'm not doing this push-up. It's not happening. It's not happening.
I think it actually might be Hype. I understand why the question is asked. You've had favorites like Germany didn't even make it. Argentina is out. Spain is out. But they got a tough matchup. What is it, Thursday or Friday? Against Belgium.
Friday with Belgium.
Yeah.
And then most likely after that, they'll have to face France just to get to the final.
Yeah. So, and that exactly to get to the final. So I think it's Hype.
It's Hype for me. They play Belgium Friday. Belgium's been rolling.
Yeah, the thing, so coming off that...
Like, every time y'all say that shit, my heart sinks a little.
I rolled the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, here's the thing, right? Coming off that game, Belgium, that was a great game that they had against Japan.
3 goals in 20 minutes.
3 goals in 20 minutes. It goes one or two ways. Using a sports analogy, that'll go one or two ways, right? That either gives you a whole lot of momentum that you then ride the rest of the way, or is it that Japan was able to exploit something or put something out that Brazil will be able to exploit?
Japan was playing the game of their life. I mean, Belgium is ranked 3rd in the world. Brazil is 2.
Belgium's used to choking. So, we'll definitely know. I think we'll definitely know in the first half of that match which way it goes. But that's a tough matchup for Brazil.
All right, so is it newsworthy or nothing to see here that the NFL asked a judge to make a ruling in their court case that Colin Kaepernick has no case?
It's definitely newsworthy. Yeah, I mean, they're basically pointing out Article, I believe, 17 in their collective bargaining agreement that basically says that, if you want to prove that collusion exists, you need to show the receipts. And they basically are asking the arbitrator to force Kaepernick's side to show the receipts if there's proof of collusion. They have I think 16 depositions that they've collected, including statements from Jerry Jones, Bob Kraft. They've got text messages, they've got emails. So basically the NFL is like, you need to show and prove, or as Devin likes to say, fuck a walk.
Piss or get off the pot.
Yeah.
And his lawyer, Kaepernick's lawyer, claimed that they have messages from a team owner that changed his mind on bringing Kaepernick based off the comments that President 45 made. So if you got them, like you said, show the receipts, because at the end of the day, we got to see if this is legit or not.
Yeah. And I think the NFL is just trying to move on.
Yep. As they should be trying to move on. But now, if they're going to show the receipts and it's real, then the case will go forward. So coming up, we got Mr. Pacquiao versus hard-hitting Matthysse. Is this fight going to be a hit or flop? Are you going to watch it? Is it going to be a good fight?
It's a 2-part question. 1, is the fight going to be a hit or flop? The fight is going to be a hit.
Absolutely.
The pay-per-view, a big fucking flop.
Well, I think Bob Arum said that he's just going to feed it to ESPN because he's responsible for the American version, and he's feeding it to ESPN, and ESPN is going to make a choice whether or not they're going to just put it on ESPN or do the ESPN Plus.
Because if it's on pay-per-view, in America, I don't think anyone watches it.
No. It's ESPN. It's either the choices are ESPN or ESPN Plus.
And they'll probably do if they're gonna do Bud on Plus, they're gonna do. Pacquiao still has a big enough name to do at least Plus.
Well, judging what happened leading up to this, why this is even a question?
They didn't have the money.
Because the money just showed up. I was gonna make a joke, but I'm gonna just keep going. But yeah, the money just got in escrow. I think ESPN is. I mean, there's been no promotion for it, and the fight is slated to go off next week, in a week and a half. I think it's just going to be an ESPN production, but it will be a great fight, and Pacquiao might die in the ring.
That might be the only way for him to win.
This is real.
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 Yeah.
No, he's this is dangerous. I don't know if y'all saw the press picture when they stand there when they make the fight and they're standing in their suits or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Manny Pacquiao's face looks haggard. I mean, I don't know if it's his political career that's doing this shit or what, but it's time for Manny to go away.
Or is that he's 40 and he hasn't been taking the power pills for 5 years.
And his head is ginormous.
And Matthysse hits hard. And he's going to keep hitting
target.
Hard. Yeah. The target's gotten bigger. I hope he gets out of this fight with no serious harm. He's been great for boxing for a long time. It is time for him to go away.
And he might knock Matthysse out. It's possible.
It's possible.
But I don't believe it.
So it's
may be
fucking
wrong,
Santa
but I
Claus
doubt
on
it.
Christmas. It ain't happening.
No. It's a real thing. It's a definite possibility.
Again,
The speed is still there.
I understand the possibility. Jeff Horn.
Jeff Horn didn't win that fight, though. We know he didn't.
Yeah, the fact that fucking Jeff Horn was in a position to be called the winner, he should have retired at that point.
Yeah, I mean,
He wasn't
fighting in Australia, bro.
I think styles make fights, and Jeff Horn fought a very rough housing. He was a very physical fight. Matthysse doesn't fight that way. He just wants to stand
knock you
and
the
slug.
fuck out.
We'll see. Kevin, anything in diplomatic immunity?
Yes, I wanted to highlight an article that a great friend sent me right before the show that I thought was worth talking about.
That was a great article.
His power went all the way out.
Wow.
Oh shit.
So Kevin's in a thunderstorm, doo-dah, and the power is out. So
he did warn us.
He did warn us that it would happen. It did happen. We will pick it up on Thursday, Kevin.
Oh shit.
That great article.
Well, let's get out of here on that note. This has been another episode of Confirmation Bias. What were you going to say, Redo?
Just tell him to put it on social media, man.
Good luck.
Right.
Speaking of which, you can follow us everywhere. Our handle is @TheLeagueAM. Also, please check out our website, theleagueam.com. Diplomatic Immunity. Want to plug our online blogspot, Diplomatic Immunity. Please make submissions. It's free. We'll shout you out. We'll put you on our social media. Also, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, League Ambassadors. We will see you on Thursday.